On Blues Radio International, it's Jesse and Audrey continuing the viral antiviral world tour, and we are now going to take you directly to paradise, the big island of Hawaii, and our friend Colin John. How are you, Colin?
I'm great. Thanks for
Hey.
having me, Jesse and Audrey.
Hi.
Well, it's an honor to have you. So you're on the big island of Hawaii, and you're confronting the same coronavirus problem that the rest of the world is. What's it like where you are?
Well, it's a very real thing here as well. I guess I feel very fortunate. I'm in a very remote, rural area on the Big Island on the slopes of Hualalai Mountain, and the area is called Koloko. And it's about, 7 miles from Kailua Kona, which is the main area on the leeward side. And so you have Kona on the one side and Hilo on the other. Those are the two main larger cities. But it's a real thing, so I feel very fortunate to be up here, and I'm creating music, and I'm actually doing a little work, private construction up at a friend's house. There's nobody around, so I feel really fortunate.
Well, we're very fortunate to have you joining us because we're trying to bring some music from all over the world to people
Right.
who are unable even to get out of the very small space they might be confined to. And we appreciate you doing that. Also, in bringing to us the very first electric sitar. Can you tell
Right.
us, this is a choral? Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, it actually was a happy accident. Here's Blue the cat. Come here, Blue. You can say hello.
Yeah, we need to see Blue the
Yeah,
cat.
we need to say hi to Blue for sure.
This is Blue.
Hey, Blue.
Hey, kitty. Aw, hey.
Um, this came about in a very interesting way. My partner, Long Tall Deb, and I were working on a record, an EP that we released through our friends Bob and Rosie and Amy at Viztone called Streets of Mumbai. Deb and I in 2014 had done a tour of India and Nepal, and it was called the High on the Blues Tour. And there were Nepalese musicians, Indian musicians, musicians from Italy, and musicians from France, and then Deb and I were the American representatives. And we've always been very interested in like world roots music. The blues is the basis of what we do. And we actually, one of the coolest gigs we did was in Kathmandu. It was at a place called the Patan Temple. It was a Buddhist temple, and it was a full moon night. And we did a version of Smokestack Lightning with a Nepalese sitarist named Bijaya and a flautist, and then Deb and myself, and we were playing Howlin' Wolf Smokestack Lightning. So we had this really cool cross-cultural thing going on. But then what happened was when Deb and I came back, we wrote the song Streets of Mumbai, and it was really calling out for a sitar part. And being that I didn't play sitar, we were going to contact our friend Bijaya, who we met in Nepal, to see if he could play. But unfortunately, he became very ill and was unable to play. So I started looking to see, if there were effects boxes, and then I came across the Dan Electro sitar like this, and I thought, well, why not? So I found one. They're kind of hard to find, and I used it on the track, and it really made everything, okay, this is how it's supposed to be. So I thought I'd have the sitar for one song and then play it live, and kind of a one-trick pony. But then what happened was I started playing it on my solo gigs, and I noticed that it would immediately grab people's attention. So when I was playing solo gigs, I'd be playing blues, but I'd also be playing like Johnny Cash and Beatles songs instrumentally. And I noticed it really got people's attention. So a little light went off in my head, and I thought, oh, okay. So it started to become a regular part of my arsenal during the repertoire, both on my solo gigs and with Long Tall Deb.
Well, we can't wait to hear you play. Can you give us an example of something? What are you going to start with?
Uh, because this is a blues program, I love playing blues on it. So this is an old instrumental song by Tampa Red called Denver Blues. So I'm going to go ahead and play that, okay?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's really cool. What a
That
nice
is really
sound.
cool.
It's,
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
So I should probably tell you like the origins of this instrument. You've heard of the Dan Electro Company. There was a guy in Neptune, New Jersey, Nate Daniel, and he was actually a salesman, but he was very kind of a genius kind of inventor. And, at the time, Gibson, Fender, they were the electric guitars to have in the 50s and 60s, but they were also relatively expensive. So he came up with a way to mass produce guitars that were originally made out of like basswood, less expensive wood, and covered with masonite. And, I'm going to bring this up so you can see it. The pickups on here, they call them lipstick tube pickups because he had actually bought a bunch of old lipstick containers to cover the pickups. So that's where they get their name from. But there was a guy in New York named Vinnie Bell who was an inventor and a great studio guitar player. He's played on a lot of songs that people know, but they have no idea who Vinnie was. But in 1966, he collaborated with Nate Daniel to make the electric sitar. And if you look up on YouTube, Vinnie Bell, electric sitar, there's a great period video of him in like 1966 with this type instrument. And so it's basically an electric guitar. What creates the sound is the bridge here. They call it a buzz bridge. So the strings are anchored into the body and they pass over this aluminum saddle. And then the bridge is made out of metal and the strings actually touch it, which on a regular guitar would be horrible. But on the sitar, it creates that whirring, buzzy sound. And the other fun thing, these have sympathetic strings like a harp. So it evokes like some type of exoticism, you know?
Really cool. Very
Right
nice.
on.
What sort of tunings do you use?
Right now I've got it in standard, but particularly when I play a lot of slide blues, I'll tune it to an open chord, E, A, G, sometimes a minor tuning like Skip James might have done, something like that. So, yeah, so standard and then open tunings.
I would love to hear what you'd like to play for us next. The sound is really interesting, and I've heard it done before, but I think it's evocative of the fact that really blues can be expressed through so many different voices and in so many different cultures, as you in your travels have proven. But this is a nice musical example for us.
Absolutely. I'm going to change it to an open tuning now, okay? So just bear with me.
Perfect.
So that's an open G tuning. That's something like Charlie Patton, Robert Johnson, Muddy Waters, Bob Margolin might have used, you know. So I'm going to play like, let's see. I don't really have anything planned. This open G, I'll do a Robert Johnson number. How's that?
That's great.
Awesome.
On there. So I'll do Terraplane Blues. Well, I feel so lonesome. Don't you hear me when I call? I feel so lonesome. Don't you hear me when I call? You got my trembling for you. Woo-hoo. Little highwayman, don't you block my road. Don't you block my road. I'm booked in the top 100. I got to go. Generator ain't buzzing. Don't get a spot. Mercy down on your starter. Get them battery charged, I cried. Woo-hoo. Got a woman that I'm loving. Woo-hoo. Lay down and I'll get soft. Feel so lonesome. Don't you hear me when I feel so lonesome? Don't you hear me when I who can drive my triplet for you? Woo!
Hey, that's the real deal. Are there any techniques that are different? It obviously plays like a six-string guitar,
Right?
but is there any technique that you found works better with presenting it through an electric sitar?
Yeah, it's funny. You have to actually, if you play it too hard, like even though it looks like I was kind of bashing it a bit, it was more of a lighter touch than on a regular guitar. Like if you were playing slide guitar on a resonator guitar, like a National, or even on a, regular acoustic guitar, you actually have to touch it lighter because, ironically, the harder that you play it, the less pronounced the sitar effect is. So that's an interesting thing, and you have to be careful because there's all kinds of stuff everywhere. So it's kind of hard to mute the strings. So again, it's really a matter of touching it a little more gently, but to get the pronounced sitar effect.
You're taking us on a great journey through the blues, starting with Tampa Red and then Robert Johnson. Who's next?
Right? Who's next? Let's see. How about Book of White? Book of White was one of my favorite slide players.
Book of White would be great.
So bear with me while I just tune up again.
Hello again.
Hey.
Okay.
We're tuning up for some Book of White here.
So we've gone from Tampa Red to Robert Johnson. Now we'll go to Book of White with Jitterbug Swing. Let's do the jitterbug swing. I'm asking you, darling, you'll take jitterbug swing.
All right.
Very nice. So, do you want to tell us how you wound up in Hawaii?
Yeah, in 2001, I got a call to open a tour for John Mayall and the Blues Breakers. And at the time, John had a great band. Well, he always has a great band, doesn't he? Legendary people pass through his band. And at the time, you had Buddy Whittington on guitar, Hank Van Siffel on bass, and Joe Uele on drums. And then, of course, John himself, who's a legend. So we ended up playing on Oahu, in Honolulu, and Maui, and here on the Big Island. And I just made so many friends, and I just love the Hawaiian people and just the vibe. That after the tour was over, I stayed for a little bit and really made a lot of friends. And then after that, I started coming back regularly. And I think at one point, in like the second year after that, I had come like 5 times, and I was like, well, it's kind of silly. I should just move here. So I did. And it's been a wonderful experience. And then in about 2007, 2013, my father on the mainland was getting elderly and not well, so I moved back there to look after him. And then at the same time, I was telling you about my partner, Long Tall Deb. She was putting a new band together, and I said, hey, you know, I'd love to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. If I'm going to be in Ohio, I'd be happy to play in your band. So Deb and I started collaborating, and I played on her first Vistone record called Raise Your Hands. And then sort of started coming back to Hawaii. Deb's been here a few times, and I think before we started the show, I was mentioning that Deb and I and our friend Bob Margolin, who I have to give huge props to at Vistone, along with Rosie and Amy, because Deb and I were playing not traditional blues, we were playing blues and soul, but with a lot of the world influences, and they took a chance on us because they liked it because it was different. So, yeah, we were supposed to do a gig over on Oahu at a place called Hawaiian Brian's on April 2nd, which we're still going to do after all this, you know, gets under control and it's safe for everybody to travel. But but being in Hawaii is great because I play with a lot of Hawaiian musicians as well. I've been live streaming with a good friend of mine named Samati Smooth, who's an incredible guitarist. Actually, he plays all kinds of instruments. He plays saxophone, trumpet, piano, bass. He's one of those guys, like, you give him an instrument and he can play it, you know? The kind of guy you're like, man, that's going to take me forever. But he enjoys playing with me because when I play with him, I play the lap steel a lot. And that's another reason I came to Hawaii. Unfortunately, I don't have it right here with me because I would play it for you, but I traced sort of the roots of the slide guitar back to Hawaii, where the steel guitar was kind of invented. There was a guy named Joseph K. Kuku, who was a student at King Kamehameha School, and the legend goes, he was walking home from school one day in Honolulu and found a rusty railroad spike along the tracks and had his guitar and picked it up and went, like, and then a little light went off in his head. And then he milled one in shop class and started playing. But it was funny because my theory that no one talks about, sorry, the Hawaiians play with it on their lap. And, you know, the blues guys play like this. My theory is the blues guys, rather than adopting the Hawaiian style where the guitar was kind of on their lap, like they held it up for protection in the juke joints, you know? People would throw things or maybe try to shoot or whatever. It was protected like that. That's my theory. It's probably not so, but I'm sticking with it. But anyway, so back to Hawaii. So yeah, they really love blues music here. So I'm kind of an anomaly. There's a couple other blues players here. There's a Japanese guy named Tomi Isobe and another local guy named Larry Dupio, who are both very nice players. But it's not a huge blues thing, so I've kind of adapted a lot of the Hawaiian styles. So, you know, Jesse, we were talking about the open tunings. The Hawaiians call that the slack key, right? Because they're literally slackening the keys. And the Hawaiian word is ki ho'alu. Ki ho'alu. So there's another kind of fun thing. So in the blues, you have the turnaround that goes like, Hawaiians have one that goes. The blues one. That's the Hawaiian one. Is that da 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 and variations of it. But anyway, so I actually made a record in 2008 called Trans-Pacific Blues. That's where I get my email moniker from. And I combine the Hawaiian slack key with blues playing. It's an acoustic record. And, you know, I play songs that are kind of half Hawaiian slack key and half Delta blues. Because I love it all. Because it's like blues from the Pacific, the Hawaiian music. So that's how the whole thing kind of ties in with Hawaii. Plus the weather's real nice too, you know.
Right.
Good reason.
But right now everything's closed. Like there's a mandate. I haven't been to the beach in 6 weeks because you can't go. You know, and I love going in the water and all that, but we have to be safe now, you know. So that's important.
It is important. Our beaches are closed here as well, and it's very upsetting. It's, you know, as a person who likes to go to the beach, and Jesse's actually on the beach.
Yeah.
So.
You just look at it. I'm looking at it from here, and I can see the waves breaking today. You know, we're a few miles up. It's like 7 miles to the coast, but we're up high. You can see. I could walk over there and show you if you want.
Actually, what I would love to hear is some of that fusion music you were just talking about with the Delta blues and the slack. I would love to hear that.
Sure. We get tuned up again and
Wow.
That was incredibly beautiful.
Wow.
Wow.
So you see, it's like, to me, it's very similar. It's kind of like the same kind of music, you know. They both have the same feeling, you know, the blues and the Hawaiian music. So that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to try and present that, to say, hey, look, it's, even though we're a big world and we're separated by thousands of miles and different cultures, we're all kind of the same, really, at the core, you know, with music. And music ties it all together, I think.
Could you play one more in that genre for us? That was some of the most beautiful and comforting music that we've had on our tour, and we've done maybe
right
close to
on.
60 interviews. That was absolutely spectacular.
Oh, wow.
And
Yeah, look.
we really hope our audience is able to feel what we're feeling right now, because it's very beautiful.
Excellent.
Stunning. It really is. Oh my goodness.
And thanks. I'm very humbled that you feel that, and thank you so much. I'm just going to change the tune a little bit.
Even the tuning is beautiful.
But you see, they're the same tunings that, you know, blues players would use as well. So, and maybe it'll inspire others to, you know, attempt to reach out and try different stuff.
I certainly hope so, because I'm inspired.
Okay, I think that'll be all right. Bear with me just a sec. I'm drinking ginger, Hawaiian ginger. This is good stuff. Oh, yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers, everyone. Let's see. Okay.
Wow.
A standing ovation around the world for that one, Colin. Wow.
Thanks
Wow.
so yeah, that's what I spend my time doing. Is I really like to mix the styles up, and because I guess there's no rule that says you can't, but it's nice to try and do something different. And I hope that it makes people happy.
Well, you brought a lot of light to a lot of places that there's a lot of darkness, sadness, and fear right now with that beautiful music.
Yeah. Oh,
and,
thank you so
and
much.
we appreciate your joining us today.
It's so important.
Really, really nice. Could I ask you for one last favor? Would you show us what the view looks like so that we can all see the Pacific Ocean with you before we go?
Sure.
That would be great.
Okay. And I'd be happy to. And Jesse and Audrey, thank you so much for having me as your guest.
Oh, it was wonderful. It was our pleasure.
Yeah, I'm just going to walk around here. This is our friend Mike and Inga's place. And so there's Blue, the kitty. She's been hanging out.
Hey, Blue.
Kitty.
All right, so I'm walking out. This is a deck that actually I've been working on with my good friend Leonard. And it's made out of like a Brazilian wood called ipe. So this is the backyard.
Wow.
So I'm just going to scroll. You see right at the bottom of the property, those are all banana trees. And these trees, see with the blossoms on, they're starting to bloom. The craggly ones, those are called ohia. And you see the
we missed after the ohia.
Those are called, there's the ocean over there. I'm just going to walk around a little bit. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Can you see the ohia there?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm going to walk around.
Our reception is cutting off, but it all looks beautiful.
It's amazing. What a way to...
There's these are cool trumpet filters here. Little waterfall back there. Oh, this is cute. The mother hen had given birth to the little chicks. Do you see them?
No, not yet, but...
Oh, there they are.
Oh, cool.
How cool. Aw, there.
They're running around everywhere.
What a beautiful place.
Yeah, it's really nice. You can see why I don't mind being here. So
No.
this is the deck that Leonard and I have been working on right here. This is the front part. There's banana trees. I'll show you some more pretty flowers.
Everything's
kind
so
of
green.
What a tour.
It's lovely.
right. Everything's kind of lush, and
Yeah.
these are great. These are lilikoi fruits here. right here. Do you see those?
Yes.
I
Got my
do.
hand on. Those are and they grow wild like they're on a vine, you know. I saw a beautiful bird of paradise over here somewhere. Where did it go? The flower. Oh, here it is. These are really neat. I think you might have them in Florida.
We have
Yeah,
birds of
we do.
paradise here, but not many of us are getting to see them these days.
No,
See
nothing
those?
like that. My goodness.
Yeah. Spider, better watch out for that.
Yeah. Don't hurt yourself.
No. Oh wait, I heard another chicken. There's
I
really
did hear.
funny. There's a rooster around here, and it's funny. He walks backwards. It must be a Hawaiian thing. We just laugh. It's the funniest thing. I don't
No,
see him.
he's got style.
Yeah. So there's the case for the baby sitar. And
Okay.
All right.
there we go. So yeah, back in the house, and oh look, Blue's taking my chair. See, this is
Oh.
where I was sitting for the performance, right?
It's
Yeah,
warm.
well, Blue knows. Yeah, Blue knows the secret.
Blue, you're an internet star on Blue
Yes.
Radio. So
That's
So
right.
yeah, that's the view. Not too shabby, huh?
No,
Yeah.
I think it's livable. I can understand where a lot of that musical inspiration, a lot of that beauty that we just heard came from.
Yeah, you know, I feel very blessed and fortunate. So to be able to experience this on a daily basis and work and play music, and it's very lovely. I'm going to put my thing back to kind of where we had it.
Okay.
Okay. Oh,
Okay.
Blue.
So-
Kitty.
Okay. Well, thanks to Colin John and Blue joining us from the Big Island of Hawaii on our
Oh.
viral antiviral world tour. And thank you for bringing such joy to so many people around the world for us.
That was wonderful.
Thank you guys so much, and I look forward to seeing you. And peace and love to all.
Oh, yes. Peace and love for sure.
Okay.
And it was nice because Jesse and I were talking. We had met back at the IBC, sitting outside the hotel on a relatively dreary late January, early February day, and it was great that we connected this way. And Audrey, it's so nice to meet you as well now. And thank you very much. You guys keep doing what you're doing because it's really important for everybody.
Well, thank you, Colin.
Thank
I hope
you.
you stay in good health and continue making such beautiful music. Thank you for sharing it with us.
Thank you. Aloha, you too.
Okay.
Aloha.
Bye.
Bye.
Aloha.
Now.